Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited to be looking at Hot Toys Darth Sidious figure, tms745. This is from when he fought Yoda in episode 3. Started off in his office under the Senate chamber, and then they ended up in the Senate chamber. Anyway, let's take a look at what we've got. This is a nice picture of the figure. Although this is misleading, his lightning bolts do not light up like they show in here. Let's see, we've got two lightning hands. I did compare these to the Clone Wars figure, and they did not reuse those lightning hands. These are completely different, new and different. We have a lightsaber hilt, and then another one wired for the USB. That one lights up. One red swooshing blade. One red regular blade. And then we've got various hands, gesturing hands with really nasty looking fingernails. And it's probably hard to see with my camera, but the paint app and all the veins on his hand is just really outstanding. They did a really good job on these hands. Here is, oh yeah, that's looks like a grabbing hand for his lightsaber on the left hand. Although in the movie he used his right hand. Here is another one. And then we've got right-handed lightsaber holding hands. So the difference between these two, this one holds the lightsaber at a 90-degree angle from his hand, and this one is more at a like a 45-degree angle. So, and then we've got the various clips, the USB box and the clips, so forth, including a belt clip, which I don't understand because he's not wearing a belt. So why would they do that? It makes no sense. Here's a little device for his eyes. And then let's get to the figure itself. Here he is. He's wearing a robe very similar to the Clone Wars, with the exception that other than, you know, the color, the material, it's much looser. That other one was painfully tight and made movement very difficult. But he has some decent, somewhat decent arm movement. He can't raise his arm too well. I guess if you turn it, you can get some vertical movement. And then he's got quite a bit of leg movement. So, and on his robe underneath, he's, like I said, he doesn't have a belt, but he's got this simple robe, and it's split in the back, which will come in handy later. So his sleeves are all mushed up, so you have to take some time to puff them out to make it movie accurate. So let's get him ironed out and posed and see how he looks. So here's Grandpa Sith right out of the box. He basically has the same outfit as the Clone Wars figure, with the exception of the materials, and it's much looser. But the front of the hood the bottom of the mantle and the bottom of the robe. They're wired, and you have to spend a lot of time fussing with it to get it to look right. The other thing you have to fuss with a lot are the sleeves to get them to be puffed out behind the cuff as shown. They shipped with the fabric all bunched together. One thing I did have trouble with is both of the sides of the front. It was shipped and they overlapped quite a bit, and that was not screen accurate. And no matter what I did, I had a hard time getting the two pieces to join in the front. They just kept wanting to overlap. So what I ended up doing was clipping them at that point and then working around on the bottom to get it to shape. So that worked. This rather mundane pose is actually screen accurate. At the beginning of the scene, he does walk with his hands just hanging down to the side, which is odd because all the other times he's in Sith mode, he always, unless he was holding something, he always held his hands in front of him, you know, in this area. So that was very odd. But other than that, nice figure. And let's see what he looks like in some other poses. So here is another simple pose, and this is right after he has zapped Yoda and he's laughing, you know, alas, the Jedi are no more, and he just holds his hands up in this gesture. So I remember that pose from the movie vividly. So here he is with his Force Lightning hands. Every time you change the pose on him, you have to fuss with his outfit some more. It really should have worked on his mantle a little bit more, but didn't want to spend too much time because this is not the final pose he's going to be in for me. The next pose, we'll look at him with the lightsaber, and that is the pose I'm really wanting to put him in. I think, like the Clone Wars figure, I could feed the lightsaber up under his robe, through the top of the sleeve and out through the cuff, so to hide the wires. So we'll do that next. So I did manage to get the lightsaber installed as I guessed, as I had hoped, and it was fairly easy. The other thing of note is I am using a waist grabber, and I managed to get it underneath his inner robe so it's not pinching or damaging that, or nor can you see it. Luckily his robe has a slit in the back so I could accommodate the power box. So now all I have to do is pose him and refuss with his robe to get him to look right, and we'll take a look at him. So here's my final pose, which he'll be in probably for 5 years, if not forever. I was inspired by the scene when he first lights up his lightsaber. So his head is slightly turned to the side. You can't turn it too much or he's looking into the side of his hood. But it's turned slightly to the right, parallel with his lightsaber, with this arm obviously outstretched as if balancing. I've done the same thing with his feet. They're spread out and turned to parallel their limbs, the arms above. And then I have also parted his robe slightly in the center so you can get a glimpse of the fabric in it on his underrobe. So there he is. I think he's a great figure. worth having, especially if you are a fan of the prequels. So, there you have it. Palpatine, from when he battled Yoda. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.